Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jiho from grade 11, and today I will talk to you about my journey as growing up as a third culture kid, living across borders. Well, I'm sure everyone in this room has once found themselves in a place where everything feels unfamiliar. When you're in a foreign country where the customs, the language, and the culture is completely different from what you're used to know. I know, it can be exciting, but also overwhelming. I fly and travel a lot. Just last year, I was on 24 different flights across the globe. Airports have become a second home to me. Yet, they also remind me of this weird, in-between space I exist in. I was born in Korea, but the place I call home now is Malaysia. When I visit Korea, I don't feel like I quite belong. It's a very strange feeling, walking down the streets of your hometown, yet feeling like a tourist. When I land in Korea, I line up under the resident lane using my Korean passport. Yet, Korea is not where I permanently reside. Ironically, it's when I land in KL or Singapore that I truly feel at home. Even while standing in the foreign passport line, I feel at ease despite being labeled as a foreigner. This tension between birthplace and home, between belonging and otherness, defines my journey as a third culture kid. And today, I want to share that journey with you. But first, let's get something straight. What exactly is a third culture kid? If I really wanted to, I could give you my long philosophical take on it, or just like any other responsible high school student, I could ask my bestie, ChatGPT. A third culture kid is someone raised in a culture different from their parents or country of nationality, developing a hybrid identity from multiple cultural experiences. Yeah, that about sums it up. Basically, we are cultural chameleons, too foreign for our home country, but too local for our host country, and stuck somewhere in between, questioning everything. It's kind of like when you microwave your food and it's boiling in the edges, but it's frozen in the middle. That's me in a cultural sense. I think that brings up an important question. What is home? Is it the place where I was born? The place where I feel most comfortable? Or something else entirely? I was born and raised in Korea, spending my early childhood there. However, when I was in elementary school, my family moved to the United States because of my dad's work. However, just as I was getting used to life there, we moved back to Korea. Then, when I was about to enter middle school, my family moved once again, this time to Malaysia. Moving so often is not just about leaving behind friends and familiar surroundings. It's about constantly having to redefine what home means to you. Was it Korea, where I was born? United States, where I learned how to speak English? Or Malaysia, where I have spent most of my formative years? Every time I settled in, I had to start over. To help you understand the experience, I want to bring up a concept called the U-curve adjustment theory. This theory shows the stages of cultural adaptation. It starts with the honeymoon phase. At first, everything is exciting. I still remember the thrill of landing in a new country, arriving at my new house. The houses looked very different, and the streets had a new rhythm. I was fascinated by the small cultural differences. Everything felt like an adventure. But reality hit hard. The moment I stepped into my new school in California, I realized obviously Korean is not spoken there. Instead, everyone was using this fancy sounding language called English, which I knew absolutely nothing of. Simple things like trying to order food or answer questions became frustrating challenges. However, over time, things started changing. I took EAL classes where I slowly learned how to piece together words and phrases. I got used to and even started enjoying the massive portions and super sugary American food. I started understanding conversations around me, and life felt a little foreign day by day. And finally, I hit the mastery phase. My English became native level, and the place that once felt alien started feeling like home away from home. I found myself laughing at jokes in English, writing essays with ease, and even forgetting that I was once the kid who knew none of this language. As you can see, this theory is not just an abstract idea. It's my reality. The U-curve repeated itself once again when I moved to Malaysia, going through the same phases all over again. Being a third culture kid means never fully belonging to one single culture. I still carry my Korean traditions, language, and values, but my experiences abroad have shaped the way I think, I speak, and I interact. Sometimes I feel like I'm not fully Korean, American, or Malaysian. I'm something in between. And that raises a big question inside my head. What does it even mean to be Korean? Is it the language I speak, the traditions I carry, the way others view me, or something deeper? For years, I thought being a third culture kid was a burden, constantly feeling like an outsider, struggling to fit in, and fearing judgment from the more native Koreans who saw me as too westernized, while others view me as too Korean. It felt mentally exhausting having to constantly switch between cultural expectations and never fully belonging anywhere. But now, I see it as my superpower. Instead of feeling caught between cultures, I have learned and mastered how to navigate through them, adapt quickly, and connect people from different backgrounds in many ways that others might find difficult. I know that this in-between space can feel isolating, but it has also given me something invaluable. So, let's get to the takeaways. First, being a third culture kid has taught me how to build connections in many ways that a lot of people don't get to experience. When you grow up between cultures, you learn how to connect with people from diverse backgrounds. You become good at finding common ground, understanding where people come from, and making a place for yourself even when you don't quite belong. Second, it has changed, but reshaped my idea of home. I have come to realize that home is not a place, it's a feeling. Home is where you feel understood and where you feel the most comfortable and where you can be yourself. And for me, home is not just one single country or city. It's a mix of all the experiences and relationships that have shaped me into who I am today. Lastly, it has given me the ability to navigate changes with confidence. I moved so many times, and with each move, I have learned how to adapt better. I have learned how to embrace uncertainty and how to grow from it. I hope that next time you find yourself in a place where you don't quite belong, you will remember, home isn't always a place. Home isn't always where you're born. It's where you grow, where you connect, and where you can be yourself. So, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from my talk today, it's this. Embrace your uniqueness. Step outside your comfort zone. Explore, learn, and most importantly, be yourself, even if that means not neatly fitting into one single category. And the next time I stand at an airport immigration line, I will not wonder where I belong, because I already know I belong wherever I choose to make my home. Thank you.